Kid, and welcome to KidTime StoryTime, where we have a story about man's best friend. Oh yes, of course, Two-Tone, and you as a cat are also woman's best friend over here. Yes, as a matter of fact, just like you, Ralphie here was adopted. Yes, that's right. I don't think that you, Kid, knew this, but I adopted Two-Tone when he was just a baby. And he was all by himself and needed somebody to take care of him and love him. That's right, that's right. And Ralphie here, well, he was adopted 3 times from the shelter. That's right. Everybody has a different story. You want to hear this one? You ready, Kid? All right. Let's see about this Ralphie, who, by the way, was a real dog owned by the writer Andrea. And this is her very first book, and she wrote about her dog, because you always have to write about what you know. It's good advice in case, you should decide to write your own kid book one day. One beautiful midsummer day, the angels in heaven were painting puffy white clouds on a clear blue sky. Oh, look at that. Na 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 na. Painting and painting on rainbows and clouds. A curious puppy bounded over to them. He wanted to paint too. Oh, silly puppy. Puppies don't paint. Oh, unless what? This one does. He carefully dipped his tail into the paint. Wag, wag, wag. Swishy little clouds floated across the sky. Look here. He used his paws next. Tap, tap, tap. Paw print clouds dotted the sky. And then he stuck his nose into the bucket of paint. Achoo! Paint sprayed everywhere. And the angels, ah! Good thing they had a sense of humor. They were laughing about it. I guess there's plenty of paint where they come from. The sky was a mess. And the puppy had white paws and a blob of white on the tip of his tail and even a streak of paint on his nose. At that moment, the big guy walked by. That's right, God. And he stopped to see what was going on. And the puppy looked up with worried eyes. He's probably worried because he's a mess, right? God scooped him up and held him close. Look, there's his hand, and he's touching the puppy. The puppy did not want God to be angry with him, so he stuck out his tongue and kissed God on the nose. God, ho, 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 he laughed. He dipped his finger into the paint and drew a heart on the puppy's belly. You are loved and you are love, God said. It's time. And that was the day the puppy was born. It was time for him to leave heaven and come down to earth. Let's see what happens next. Well, the puppy rested his head on his paws and looked at the autumn leaves swirling in the breeze. It was getting cold, and he was back at the wonderful dog rescue for the 3rd time. What? What did I do wrong? Why didn't they love me? He wondered sadly. What does antique mean, and why can't I chew it? Uh-oh. Why didn't my new family take me with them when they moved? Oh, I was only trying to help with the garden. She was digging too. Uh-oh. Looks like Ralphie made a hole and was left behind in a move and ate some valuable furniture. Oh no. That's why he kept going back to the shelter. Oh, look at this one. The puppy heard a voice and saw a lady with a kind face. He jumped up and wagged his tail. The lady lifted him out, cradled him in her arms, and traced the heart on his belly. Remember the one that God put there with his finger in the paint? The puppy kissed her on the nose, and she laughed. Should we? She asked the man standing next to her, and he smiled. I love you already, and I'm going to call you Ralphie, said the lady, looking into the puppy's eyes. The puppy looked back into her eyes and knew he would love her forever. Let's go home, the man said. And they did. Skipper, this is Ralphie, your brother, his new dad said when they got home. A big black dog sniffed him curiously. Oh, so there's another big black dog in the house. Her tail was wagging and her eyes were kind. Huh, I never had a skipper before, but I like her, thought Ralphie, and he wagged his tail too. That night, as he snuggled up next to Skipper, Ralphie felt the love. He knew he was home. Look at that. What a warm welcome. He's like a big brother. Ralphie, well, he had a lot to learn. Oh, no, not my slipper. Here, chew on this, Mom said, handing him a bone. Ralphie loved bones. Oh, yeah, there's the slipper. See, because he has a tendency to chew on things. That was one of his problems. Look at those paws. You were digging again, weren't you? Dad said, shaking his head. Bath time. See, he was digging holes in the garden. That got him in trouble before. And, well, Ralphie did not like getting wet, but Dad was patient, didn't scold him, had to bathe him though, because look at that. His white spot on his chest is a big muddy spot now. Ralphie, come on inside, Mom called. When he came right away, she said, good boy, and gave him a treat. The more he listened, the more treats he got. He loved treats, and he learned fast. And that is a good thing. Here he is playing under the tree, the autumn leaves, and here they are. This must be summertime, and they're at the beach playing frisbee. Ralphie's whole world changed again when a baby named Shane joined the family. There were shorter walks, and there weren't as many cuddles, and Ralphie got into trouble all the time. Well, I'm not impressed. He cries, he eats, and he sleeps, thought Ralphie. What's so great about him? Now, when Shane got a little bit older, Ralphie found out what was so great about him. Well, he was dozing by the high chair when something bloop, landed next to him. It smelled yummy. So Ralphie jumped up and ate it. Cereal! Shane smiled and threw a handful more. What a clever boy and so useful, Ralphie thought. He crunched happily on the crispy little pieces. That night, Shane reached out and touched Ralphie's head. Rah, rah, he said. Ralphie wagged his tail and licked Shane's hand. He loved this boy, and he always would. Well, that was quick. Just a little bit of cereal, a little snuggle, and boom, we're friends for life. Another baby, Ralphie thought when he saw his sister Marissa for the first time. Well, he thought, I'll take care of her. This time, he was a pro, you know. He knew what to do with a baby. He slept behind the chair in her room, fetched Mom as soon as the baby stirred, and kissed her tiny little toes. Lick, 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 lick. And he loved playing with Marissa, and the sound of her laughter made him happy. Now, Ralphie's family grew, and he had more reasons to love. So now he's got Shane, he's got Marissa, Skipper, Mom and Dad. When Shane and Marissa were a few years older, ooh, they're growing up so fast. Kind of like you. Ralphie watched from the door as the school bus whisked them away. He snoozed until they came back home. That way he would be well rested and ready for their next round of adventures. There's Skipper. Skipper's getting little white hairs there. Then they played in the backyard until Mom called them inside for dinner. Food! Ralphie drooled as he raced the kids through the door. And then later, Ralphie helped everyone settle down for the night. He gave the best goodnight kisses ever. Skipper was the protector of the house. And then Ralphie, well, his job was the snuggler. But Skipper was old. Well, see, little grays I mentioned there. And he was slowing down, so Ralphie had to help out. Hey, don't worry about it, Skipper. I'll see who's at the door. He barked when the bell rang. He checked the fence and the gate. Backyard secure from all those pesky squirrels. I'm right here, Mom. He stuck close in case she worried when Dad traveled. Ralphie was needed, and he felt important because he was. He had found his family and his purpose in life. Well, Skipper got sick, and it was time for her to go back to God. The family knew they would soon have to say goodbye to her, so they spent extra time surrounding her with love. And see that? Everybody's gathered around, and Shane looks like he's got a bowl of special food, and Marissa here is covering her with a blanket, and there's Ralphie, all snuggling there. Now, after Skipper died, Ralphie slept in her bed so she could feel close to her. Oh, Skipper was a girl, so she was like a mom figure to her too, like a big sister. I'll miss you, Skipper, and I'll always love you, Ralphie thought. It felt like part of him had left with Skipper, but part of her stayed with him, and that helped his heart heal. See, he was dreaming of the times when they were together. Remember, ever since they met and they played together, and now he was in bed all by himself and thinking about the times they were together. But it did help him to know that she and a part of her was always with him. Now slowly, Ralphie got used to being an only dog. Ralphie's fur, well, it got a little bit whiter every day, and a heart appeared on his face. Look at that. Oh, that's a very loving dog that he has a heart on his chest and now one on his face. Now, he still took long walks, but he had to stop often to rest. Oh, that happens when we get older. Sometimes Grandma and Grandpa have to walk a little bit more slowly. He looked wise and kind, and children ran up to pet him. The people in the neighborhood called him the grand old dog, and were always happy to see him. And Ralphie was always happy to see them too. That was a great walk. Oh, this is a good life, Ralphie thought as he chewed on his late evening snack. Ah, yes, the bon du jour. You know, he loves bones. That doesn't change. There he is walking, and the kids are getting big, and look, there you have the neighbor saying hello, and look at the girl in the neighborhood giving him some fresh water, and there he is taking a walk with the parents on a nice, cool, crisp day. Well, on a beautiful summer afternoon, Ralphie's family had a party in the park to celebrate his 16th birthday. Wow, his sweet 16. That's amazing for a dog to get to 16. There were pizza and ice cream for the people and pupcakes for all his doggy friends. Pupcakes! Dogs chased each other and ran after the balls and frisbees, and oh, look at that. There's pizza there, and there's a snow cone, and there's a dog, another dog, dog. Ralphie was too old to join in the games, but he sat with his family wearing a special bandana, watching and wagging his tail. Ralphie, he was happy. This is love, thought Ralphie. And it is, to be surrounded by all the people that you love, to have all your friends come out and celebrate you. That's love. After the party, Ralphie's family relaxed in the backyard. Ralphie and Mom looked up at puffy white clouds sailing across the sky. Remember at the beginning when the angels were painting the clouds and the rainbows? Remember that? They're looking up at the sky now from down below. And Ralphie thought, those puffy white clouds in the sky look familiar. He felt sure that he could paint clouds like those. He's remembering something from way back. Someday soon, he thought, as Mom bent down to kiss his head. Ralphie was loved, and he was love. And he always would be. And there's a heart. And look, the paw prints in the sky. Oh. And that is a story of the real life story of Ralphie Always Loved. I make you feel loved every day. Oh, two-tone. That's right. Because we're all here to love each other, aren't we? And you love the kids at KidTime StoryTime. So do I, kid. Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you have an opportunity to bring a special animal into your life, that's right. Give it lots and lots of love. See you next time on KidTime StoryTime.